Okay, let's try again. I will pick a sheet. So we've got different sheets here. I've got Shakespeare and that ADD, however you want to pronounce it, and Steam, Neo Steam Power, if you want to call it that, and then that one. That one's quite in depth, so I think. Okay, I think we'll pick. That one for now. This might only be 5-minute one, so let me get my pen out. Right. So okay, ready. So let's talk about this ADD, or however you want to pronounce it. Let's just get my pad. There we go. So the okay. So I suppose the other channel calls it sustainment, output sustainment, or something like that. So I think that for me, there's like there's the martial arts and there's kung fu and okay, and obviously I don't like when people are on steroids in it, but again, normal culture has to pretend they're not when they are, but whatever. We won't go into that. But basically, it's that, or even say WWT, Western weight training. Okay, it's the same principle. It's it's not getting bored or getting bored. So David Canterbury, the bushcraft teacher, gets a file and then he spends like 40 minutes filing down an axe instead of using a bench grinder. And obviously for ADD, and definitely for me, that would be like impossible. Doing in HEMA, a longsword kata can be very difficult, like shadow boxing with a Western sword. That can be very difficult. Anything that requires concentration could be very, very difficult. So filing a single edged axe to make it sharp for 40 minutes, that would probably be impossible with the ADD. My version of it, whatever other people's version, I can't say because I'm not them. I can, but I'm just giving an example of my version of it. And yeah, getting bored. So on the output statement or however it's pronounced on the other channel, but I'll just call it this for now. My version is basically, not being able to file a thing for 45 minutes, not being able to do a long sword kata in HEMA, or not being able to focus on Ludo or anyone's system or Western weight training, and that's how it manifests in me. So when I see certain things, anything that involves maintenance, so that's a hell of a thing. So oiling, single edged stacks for bushcraft, or oiling a HEMA sword, anything like that, it's going to be pretty much almost near impossible. Because maintenance is boring and you forget and etc. So it's almost impossible. So I always circumvent. So if I can get away with the axe being semi-sharp or semi-blunt, I will do that rather than sharpen it. I'll try and do the lowest maintenance possible. Zero is obviously not possible because it's not safe and etc. Or it's not practical or practicable. It's not. It doesn't work. It's not workable. Zero maintenance, but lowest possible maintenance I can get away with, I will do. As I say, if it's a semi-sharp or semi-blunt for bushcraft single edge stacks, I'll use that. Or same with the single edge survival knife for bushcraft. Or if it's a um, oiling blade or whatever it is, I'll again, you can't do zero maintenance, but I'll do the lowest level. I'll do like 1% maintenance. But let's use an example. I'll use the lowest possible, absolute lowest percentage that I can use. Because it's just maintenance thing with the ADD is just so that's how it manifests in me. So take that for what it's worth. And just put a little side note that I don't have solo. That means by itself, so people with that by itself can be very organised. I can't. Very chaotic with my style. My style is very chaotic. So I wouldn't know what it's like to have this. I have comorbidity, so I have that and that combined. So I wouldn't know again. These people that have the solo version can be very organised, very efficient. And my organisation is just near non-existent. So, yeah. So that again, that's how the ADD manifests itself in my reality sphere, whatever you want to say. So that's just that on hyperactiveness. And we might be looking at other videos as well. So, other leaflets. So that one's probably very in depth. So we'll do that in another one. That's very in depth. Now we've got Steam, Neo Steam, if you want to call it. Neo Steam power, like now age, modern age. So Steam power, modern version. You can have obviously gasifiers and things that instead of boiling water, it basically kind of boils the gas. So it's a double burn technology. So it burns the wood and then it burns the smoke. So it's a double burn method rather than a single burn technique. But so essentially it boils the gas instead of boiling the water. So the water's like a substitute, but that's a gas fire. But you can come up with your own concepts. But these are for off-system ideas for woodland or anyone really, sort of amateur or homemade engineering, whatever you want to call. But there's gasifiers or boiling water with the steam, anything wood fired or wood fried, as I like to pronounce it. But you can have gasifier or water boil or a third method. Yeah, but and you could use a lawnmower engine, salvage, but you just basically powering it with steam rather than say petrol or diesel or electric car, whatever the mainstream fuel is using, like an off system substitute, equivalent of system fuel source. But yes, there is. You just need whether it's gas fire or water or a third or a third technique, you just need as far as I know, Faraday's technique. So you need the coil, a magnet coil wrapped around it, and then everyone knows it's like very straightforward kind of thing, very regurgitative. It's not creative because everyone's just copying it, but he was unbelievably creative because of possible divine revelation. But underline the word possible there. It's a hypothesis, not 100% fact, but very interesting hypothesis. But Steam, modern age Steam, and you just need the basic setup really that's been there for 200 plus years. The basic setup, and then you burn the thing. You just create pressure. Create pressure. So funnel the water pressure or the gas fire pressure, whatever source you're using, gas or liquid. You just create a pressure, and then that pressure pushes, the rotation, and to create the power for appliances. So yeah, it's just food for thought, really. Some kind of OS off system, Neo Steam engine. Yeah. So anyone can just kind of think about that, really. Woodlander or anyone, really. Anyone can think about it. Again, homemade engineering or DIY engineering, non-official, unofficial. I don't like things that are officially approved. They tend to get corrupted and bribed off and things. I like things natural investigation. It's the best way because the passion and the wanting to learn will be there rather than it being rigid and forced. But yeah, off system Neo Steam engine. So that's that, and that's just the idea really. So I think you'd have your magnet, your coil, and your turbine, whatever glued onto your magnet, and then again, whatever, whether it's pressurized gas that shoots out or pressurized water vapor or whatever. Again, gasifier or water boil method or a third method. You turn the thing. I don't know. I'll come up with an idea. So that's just that really. It's just a sort of substance under pressure, whether it's a liquid or a gas substance under pressure, and then it turns the rotation on to create the power for whatever tellies or torches or whatever you want, lanterns, I don't know. So I could do this in another video, but I'll just have a look at the time. So we might have time. This might only take 5 minutes or less. It's just about, I suppose, I don't know, to use liberal words, they, we're talking like the sort of, and then like the very early, like the turn of the century, if you want to call it, like the very early 16. Sort of upper mid 1500s, and like 70s, 60s, 70s, 90s, upper mid 1500s till the very turn, like 1603, kind of Elizabethan if you want, but upper mid 1500s, shall we say? But anyway, just say 1500s for short. You don't have to go long winded. But again, this might only take 4 or 5 minutes, 4, 5, 6 minutes, if that. Just to say about I don't know, where are we? The 1500s. So they're meant to be homophonic. If you want to write it, I'll write it with my reverse hand to be ambidextrous. Use my reverse hand my non-writing on homophonic. So, they're meant to not be. They're meant to be homophonic to people, non-straight people. So I find it fascinating that at the same time they're meant to be this because say they're like hardcore Christian or whatever or Protestant, but at the same time it's like forbidden for real girls to act on the stage and it has to be boys dressed up as girls. So you wonder, is that a proto just means an early form of very, very like original, like before it properly existed, like a very, I don't know, accidental form, if you like, of proto of trans phenomenon, um, movement, however we say, in a sort of accidental form, as I say, because they were meant to be this, and yet actually it's very strange things hidden in plain sight. How um, real girls weren't allowed to act, and people can go off and use that for liberal fuel to be, go and start a rant on that kind of thing. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say that it's very interesting, isn't it? That they're meant to, not be keen on non-straight people, and yet somehow they manage to. Although a lot of, as I say, probably a lot of those might be straight. Some people say it's 80 to 91% or something. I don't know. But whichever it is, it's somehow an oxymoron or a tautology, like a paradox, that they were at the one hand this, they were meant to have an extreme dislike for non-straight people because of their extreme Christianity or whatever it was, or extreme Protestantism, but at the same time they have proto-trans, even though they dislike that. So it's very odd paradox or tautology or whatever word you want to pronounce it. Like, it's very strange. So yeah, it is a sort of proto form of the tea movement in a way, and yeah, maybe an accidental form. But I just thought it was odd that those two things could go together in the same reality. Very strange. But it does, as I say, if you've got on the 12th night, the one with Geoffrey Palmer, the 1981 version, I believe. At the end, you see the King's Court, which is meant to represent Greco-Roman period, like ancient Greek palace, and basically there's a boy dressed up as a girl, so which was again common then apparently because girls weren't allowed to allegedly uh, act or whatever. So again, very interesting that they have that two contradictory things happening at the same time. Very strange, but it does look like a proto tea movement, and they didn't seem to have a problem with it. Again, it's hard to know because some people might say the winners write history, so it's hard to know. But as I say, some people might say that, some people might not say that. But yeah, it's interesting contradiction. But I don't know. Good for them. The the clothing more comfortable, and I don't know. They maybe make more comfy clothes for non-girl people, but 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 yeah, just again a paradox or a oxymoron, tautology, a contradiction, whatever word you want to put on it. Use a thesaurus, read your dictionary. I don't know, but very interesting, and I don't know. Maybe they thought they were onto that. I don't know. Wasn't there? I mean, I know you can go into past lives and all, but in my life, in this reality of this time of my life, in this era, I don't know. You know, again, the past life thing is very extreme. You know, mystical. Whatever. I'm just talking about the regular, in layman's terms, everyday level. That when I say I don't know, wasn't there? That's the sort of layman's terms, but yeah, maybe they were on to. Maybe they thought that opinion. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? For they should make. Just the guesswork, I suppose. But yeah. So I don't know. I'll just put at the side for just for general. G for general in brackets, but just say 1500s because you can talk about late mid, upper mid, early mid, mid mid, double mid. So I'll just put for general 1500s because that's a rough approximate region of the time era period. But then there's also the picture of like those pirates, those crooked pirates like Walter Raleigh and things. Allegedly, according to some accounts, again, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But according to some accounts, that's what has been said. And then maybe according to other accounts, it hasn't been said. But according to some accounts, it might have been said that, yeah, that what is it? Oh yeah, the Walter Raleigh, and you look at those pictures with those ruffs around the neck, those bizarre, like normal people even have fashion then, silly fashion. Yeah, normal fashion's always been, I think fashion is a normal people concept, but that's my opinion. But the what are we talking about? Yeah, so the alleged, if some accounts might be true and they might not, but if they might be, then the alleged pirate Walter Raleigh and some other one, they had earrings, and that's kind of the yin and yang dot, really, isn't it? With the the Tai Chi symbol, some people would call it. The yin and yang dot, like that. So it's like the dark one represents the feminine, and the light one represents the masculine, like solar energy and lunar energy. But it's kind of like I'll just so that's the dark half and that's the light half. But basically, say that's the block, the big, that's the masculine block, the light half. But the dot, say the dark dot, let's represent the feminine within the masculine. So with for example, that alleged portrait of Sir Walter Raleigh or any equivalents, uh, humans of that culture, of that, those of that class or whatever, um, they have earrings, and certain Indian, like possibly Arjuna, and certain Indian, say, godly princes or semi-gods in the Hindu religion may have this as well. Possibly Shiva. I wouldn't. I'm not an expert. I'm just hypothesizing. I think there may be something along those lines. So again, it's the sort of feminine within the masculine. Obviously, you can have the masculine within the feminine as well. So it's kind of like that's a fascinating thing. So it's the Walter Raleigh with the earring thing would be an example of that. Also, say Native American warriors with the earrings would be again an example, you could say, of the feminine within the masculine. I'll come to that in another video, I think. Masculine within the feminine, that's also interesting. But it does look like a proto-T movement, like way back in the day before it was, modern. The modern version took off. So I suppose that's all I have to think about really for that. But yeah, it's those are examples, as I say, Native American warriors with earrings, or Silver Raleigh or equivalents on the portraits with the earrings, or the Shakespearean actors where the guys dress up as girls. Again, these are all examples. The feminine within masculine, or some people might say, some people might not say, but some people could say samurai warriors, maybe, or some form of makeman, again, feminine within the masculine. And again, I'll do another video on the reverse of the masculine within the feminine, because I know a lot less about that, I'll be honest, but that could be interesting to look at. So yeah, that's really about wraps it up really. So the G was just for general, like, rather than going into specific details, 1500s. But and I can also, again, do a video on the masculine and the feminine. I can also do about more in depth on coat of arms, more in depth on steam engines. That one's very in depth. That will take me lots of extra notation, I'm afraid. And the second through the 90s, again, and lots of extra notation on that one. So I suppose in another video we can do, the original Zen part 2, if you want to call it, and then in depth rather than just rough outline, like a more in-depth specific version of the off-system steam scenarios, and maybe miniature steam as well, and then maybe we go into more this realms as well. So and then there might be a fourth page, so there's like 1, 2, 3, and then I might think of a fourth page. So again, it would require more extra notation. Now, what I can do, if I find another paper somewhere, is I'll have to just move this to there and move that to there so that I can write on this. So I'll try and post my Patreon. Just writing with my reverse hand here. I will try and post that on maybe the comment section. So again, my tech skills are just not I'm very white belt at tech skills, very white belt indeed. But I will try and post my Patreon, and we'll see what happens, But yeah, probably wraps it up. As I say, there's those 3 sheets, and then that wraps it up. So I think for this, well, I just put CS for comment section, so I might post it in there because I don't really know how else to post it, because of my tech skills, So try and do that, and try and give people useful information. So that's about calls that a day for this video, I would say, and then do another one another time soon, possibly. Okay.